Hello everyone, my name is Rashid. I assume that you guys already know me because of the video that I posted last week in the first discussion and the second discussion too. So my topic today is about the women's suffrage in the United States back in the 1800s and 1900s. So basically, women didn't have the right to vote back in the 1800s and 1900s, and I'm going to talk about the positive outcomes and the negative outcomes too that happened in the women's suffrage. So we all believe that everyone has a right to vote, no matter what gender you are, and no matter what color you are. You must have the right to vote. Back in the 1800s and the 1900s, women didn't have the right to vote here in the United States, and much of the world, and in much of the world too, yeah, and like in the rest of the world, women didn't have the right to vote too. Um, Women here in the United States had the right to vote officially on August 18th, 1920, but it wasn't that fair though. Let me talk about the positive outcomes, of the women's suffrage in the United States. Education in the United States. Women's suffrage increased local education expenditures by 9%. White people had much better benefits from black people. As a result of the segregation in the United States, white people had much better benefits than black people. Black people had the benefits that white people had. I think by 1960 or something like that, when Martin Luther King sold everything out. White students experience an increasing education amount to a statistically insignificant couple of years. The gains were comparable between both genders. And now let's talk about the economical positive outcomes. The economical positive outcomes of the suffrage in the United States. Women's economic roles increased in society since there was more educational opportunities for women to sense their potential for meaningful professional careers. Also, women's salaries were increased, but they were not the same amount that men received. So basically, there was a raise. There was a raise for women, but it was not the same amount that men received. So it was still kind of bad, honestly. And the last positive outcome is the and, the, and I'm sorry, and the last positive outcome was the political outcomes. Resistance of giving women the right to vote became to break down when Wyoming. When Wyoming granted women's suffrage in 1869 as the first U.S. state to grant suffrage. By the 1890s, several U.S. states granted suffrage. In 1913, 12 states granted suffrage. When the U.S. went into war in 1917, women's suffrage amendment was submitted in the House of Representatives. By 1919, it had passed both houses of Congress and was soon ratified by the necessary 36 states. Finally, women officially had the right to vote over 36 states on August 18th, 1920 in the United States. But black women didn't have the right to vote until 1960. Which brings us now to our conclusion. Basically, guys, there was educational, economical, and political positive outcomes of the women's suffrage. And the United States went through a lot of struggles, especially in the past century. Women's suffrage World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, and obviously the African American protests in 1950s, which was led by Martin Luther King. That's all what I got. That's all what I got for. Yeah. And they have one more information, by the way. If you guys are wondering about the 14 remaining states, yeah, if you guys are wondering about the 14 remaining states, they granted suffrage in 1984, and the last state that granted suffrage was the state of it was state of Colorado, and it was in 1984. So yeah, the last state that granted women's suffrage was the state of Colorado. I'm sorry about that. It was the state of Mississippi. It wasn't Colorado. Colorado was actually one of the first states that granted suffrage. So again, the last U.S. state that granted suffrage was the state of Mississippi, and it was back in 1984. That's all what I got for you guys. That's all what I got for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed my presentation. Thank you guys for listening and watching my presentation, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed the rest of your day. Thank you.